well. I know this has been a hard time for many of us, and hopefully things will begin to look up. We can hope. So I just wanted to welcome everybody. We have Nadav here today, so we're very excited about that. And we just thought we'd begin, as we always do, by introducing ourselves, saying our names, our pronouns that we use. And certainly if anybody has any good news to share, that would be wonderful. What I'm going to do, right, and as well, what we thought we would kind of focus on today to some degree is to find out what sorts of virtual programs people have been doing, what they feel has worked well or not. If you had a Pride Shabbat virtually that worked well. I mean, honestly, I know we had one and I barely remember it. It was so long ago, or it was just last week. I don't know. So that's where we want to begin. I think the easiest way is to go by the participant list. I seem to, oh, there it is. And I'll just call out because people just move around too much unless somebody else has some other idea. But I think that's what I did before. All right, so I'll begin. I'm Pat Rin. My pronouns are she, her. On the board of Mosaic, and I am also in Community Synagogue of Rye. And I run the Kulanu Committee, which is our committee for LGBTQ issues. Okay, let me do this. And of course, if you ever want to write anything in the chat, we'll all be monitoring it. So let me look on here. Abby, you want to go?
Sure. I'm Abby Reichen, she, her, and I am the education director at Bet Shalom Synagogue. And I've been on the Mosaic Advisory Council for a while. Jill and I led some teen programming over the years, and happy to be here.
Thank you. And again, if anybody has any virtual programs they want to share, I don't remember if you did, Abby. Diane.
Hi, I'm Diana Shutt, or is it Diane Warner?
You know what, Diana, you go now and then Diane will go. That's okay. Fine.
Okay. She and her are my pronouns, and I am on our inclusion committee at Temple Israel Center, and I'm also director of school admissions at the LaFell School.
Thank you. Diane? Are you there?
Hi, I'm Diane Werner on the Mosaic Advisory Board. I'm embarrassed to say that I haven't done squat in the LGBT space, at least not that I remember, in the last 6 months since COVID started.
All right, thank you. Jill?
Hi, I'm Jill Schreibman. I am also on the Mosaic Advisory Board. I'm also a social worker at Westchester Jewish Community Services in their Partners in Caring program. So I'm actually the social worker at several of your synagogue sites. So different hats.
Thank you. Mark?
I'm Mark Klee, he, him. I'm treasurer of the Westchester Jewish Council, in addition to being on the advisory board of this wonderful organization, Mosaic. And I'm a past president of Bethel Synagogue in New Rochelle.
Thank you. Nadav.
I'm Nadav Shachmon. I'm the Westchester Shaliach. I've been here for the last 2 years. This is my 3rd year. And I've been doing a lot of things virtually, and I'm excited to share with you everything in a little bit.
Yay. Pam, so I see you are trying to let people in.
Okay, so I'm Pam Goldstein, she, her. I am the Assistant Executive Director of the Westchester Jewish Council, and I'm the one who probably is bombarding of emails. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. We were really thrilled to have all of you here, and we're very excited to hear what you've all been doing.
Thanks. Sharon.
Hello, Sharon Gorman. I am a member of the advisory board and a member of Temple Israel of New Rochelle.
Thank you. Amanda Gable.
Yes, Gable. I'm Amanda Gable. I'm the Director of Special Needs Services at the Shames JCC. Right now, we're not doing work with the LGBTQ community, but a dream of ours is to expand my role and to run services for this community. So this is my first time on the meeting.
Great, that's wonderful. Maybe we can help you out somehow to begin that.
I would love that. Thank you.
Great, thank you. Corey. Are you there?
Unmuting first.
Okay, excellent idea.
Yeah, this is obviously my first meeting of the day. So Corey Friedlander, he, him, Woodlands Community Temple in White Plains, member of our LGBTQ+ task force. We held our Pride Shabbat service the first Friday, the first Shabbat of June, as we always do, did it virtually. And it worked wonderfully for us, as all of our virtual services have.
Great, so you just had somebody in to talk, or?
We brought a speaker in from Chicago virtually, so no transportation costs, which was really very nice. But our clergy team and professional staff have been amazing in figuring out ways how to bring people in and out from wherever they happen to be, our speakers, and incorporating videos and other technological benefits of our doing it this way to enhance the service. So we did as we always did. We wrote the script for the service. It was actually, I think, part of Harriet Levine, who's also from our congregation, may correct me on this if my memory is off, but we have a service every 4 to 6 weeks, which we call a joyful noise, where there's a full band providing music with it, and our rabbi, who's very involved in leading that musically. This happened to be the timing for that, so we incorporated that into our service, which worked out really delightfully this year.
Wonderful, thank you. I mean, I think we've all found out to some degree that there are actually some advantages to Zoom, like being able to have somebody from Chicago in that way, or, you know, yeah, very nice, thank you.
You're welcome.
David Diamond.
Hi, I'm David Diamond. I use he, him pronouns. I'm from WJCS Center Lane, the LGBTQ youth program in Westchester County. And this is, I think, the first time we've been able to attend because of scheduling and all those kinds of things. So yay, Zoom. And we've been running groups virtually since April 1st for trans and gender expansive youth and for the LGBTQ community, and some special events, and here to listen and help.
So you've been running events via Zoom?
Via Zoom, yeah. So open mics and talent shows and game nights, and we're doing a Halloween parade / dance next Thursday. So we're kind of experimenting with the different things you can do on Zoom. We did a 3 one-week Pride camp sessions this summer. So we had kids for about 4 hours a day, Monday through Friday. And the first one was on just kind of LGBTQ basics. The second one was on relationships. It was called Friendships and Dating and Sex, Oh My. And then we had one on isms and intersectionality, and the Zoom platform, like somebody said earlier, lets us bring in guest speakers from different places. We were able to put the kids in breakout rooms, have them turn off their cameras and take their names down, and they could write whatever they wanted to write without owning the language. They could ask whatever question they wanted to ask or answer it in any way they wanted to weigh in a safe, anonymous way, you know, with adult supervision to make sure it didn't get out of hand, obviously, but you didn't get none of them were too embarrassed to ask something because you couldn't see them typing and you didn't know what name was ascribed to it. So
Wonderful.
we've tried to be really creative with it. We're trying to get kids to attend. They don't like a Zoom as much as adults do, because clearly we're all in love with Zoom. And we could be on it 24 hours a day, kids not so much.
Yeah, that sounds great. So you've found some things that work well.
Yeah.
Great. And do you use a Google Doc to do the anonymous? Is that why
So
it's anonymous?
we do a Google Doc to register people so that they can each get their own individual link to the Zoom, and then we use telehealth which is the HIPAA approved version of Zoom, I guess is the
Yeah.
easiest way to say it, for our group, and then we put them in the breakout chat rooms to do the anonymous chatting with each other. So we just
Oh,
have
I see.
we have them turn off their cameras, change their. We have everybody change the name from like David Dime to Q. So there's like 7
Oh,
Qs
very
in the
smart.
room
Okay.
with a bunch of blank screens, and people are just typing at each other
Got
or
it.
with each other, because not even typing at
Thank
each other.
you.
It was really helpful and supportive, and the kids really appreciated the freedom of being able to talk freely and ask questions without feeling like they were being judged for asking either a too easy question or a too weird question or any of those kinds of things.
Great, thanks. Those are wonderful ideas, and I think everyone wants to find what they can do. So
Yep.
thank you. Ellen. Are you there, Ellen Feld-Newmark? Are you muted? I can't
Try
see
again.
you. Oh, okay, there you are.
Hi, Ellen Feld-Newmark. She, her. I am a congregational representative from KTI. We have not done any virtual LGBTQ+ events at all. We've done, like everyone else, virtual Shabbats, musical Shabbats, etc. Rosh Hashanah, all of it. But I'm eager to hear if anyone else has any good ideas, and we'll just borrow them.
Yes, excellent. Thank you. Anna, I'm not going to say your last name. I'll just say it wrong.
That's fine.
Anna.
Join the club. It's not my name. It's my husband's family.
It's all his
my
fault.
name for
All right.
almost 40 years already. We are almost 40 years now. So I am the education director at the Pelham Jewish Center. And since we went into quarantine since March last year, we did not have an event regarding LGBTQ plus. We wish we had, but not. And I think we will put one on the calendar soon.
Yeah, and we might all be Zoom in the spring. So yeah, and I love your glasses, Anna.
They are from an Israeli designer. She sells here in Yonkers behind Best Buy.
Oh, really?
Her name is Ronit First. Yeah.
I love it.
Yes.
Thank you. All right, I'm going to write that, and that's what I'll get out of this evening. Thanks. I am up to Harriet.
Harriet, you have to unmute.
You're still muted.
There I go. Can you hear me now?
Okay, yes.
Okay. I'm sorry about that. Corey told you about our Pride Shabbat, which was actually our third Pride Shabbat. And we at the same time said goodbye to Daniel Goldberg. Some of you may know Daniel.
Oh.
He was a representative with Corey and me on our roundtable, and he's off to college now. So this was his last, he was co-chair of our task force, and we said goodbye to him. So it was a lovely service. I had computer issues, but you know, what else is new? Other than that, we are planning, I don't have a date right now, but we are planning our meetings for this year in our own synagogue, you know, our task force, and we'll keep you posted.
Great. Thank you, Harriet.
You're welcome.
Judy Fensterman. I'm not seeing you, Judy.
It looks like she stepped away.
Oh, you're right. Yes, it does. Okay, I'll come back. Karen Gallant.
Yeah, that's actually good timing because Judy and I work together.
Oh, good. Okay.
We're volunteers, but we co-chair the LGBTQ Inclusion Committee. Karen Gal, she, her are my pronouns. We had a wonderful Pride Shabbat thanks to Nadav, who was our guest speaker. I think we had between 75 and 80 people participate, and we had a Q&A at the end that was really successful. Like, people were thoughtful. It was a really excellent, and not only did we have an excellent speaker, but we had really wonderful engagement as a result. We also have a new rabbi who is extremely dedicated to doing LGBTQ work and has actually been prompting us to make sure that we're as involved as he would like to be. He would be here tonight, but he had a conflict tonight. But we are meeting with him next week to talk about planning for the spring. And I quietly texted David because I'm so impressed by the work he's done that I'm hoping we can get some ideas and have some stuff to work through at our first meeting. So,
Wonderful. Thank you. Liz Roll. I see you just turned off your camera. I don't know if you stepped away.
You want to go back to Judy? She's back now.
Oh, yes. Judy, hi.
I'm here. Sorry, I walked away. I'm in the
That's
middle
okay.
of cooking dinner and
I
bad
completely
timing.
understand.
Poor timing on my end. Anyway, so Karen, I'm Judy Fensterman, member of Temple Sherei Tefillah with Karen, who just kind of filled you in. We were lucky enough to have Nadav as our virtual speaker. It was really quite wonderful, and people were able to ask questions, and I think it came off even better than we could have expected. So thank you again, Nadav. It was really great. As Karen said, we have a new rabbi, and we're very excited because he did reach out to us, which was quite great, to ask to meet with us. And he didn't realize we get these invites separately. He had forwarded, the invite to this and say, I can't make it. Are you good? Can you? And we explained we've been doing this for a while, but he's, very excited about making our temple even more friendly or approachable, whatever. So I think we're set to meet with him next week and keep doing more of hopefully what we've been doing. So.
Wonderful. Thank you. Liz Roll, I see you back. Just unmute. Okay.
Liz Raleigh, she, her. And I'm a member of Community Synagogue of Rye with Pat. And she's already reported, so I'm gonna.
Okay, thank you. I didn't have much to say. Michelle Steinhardt.
Hi, I'm Michelle Steinhardt, she, her, hers. And I am the Director of Inclusion at Temple Israel.
Oh, you're off. Okay, that was it. Thank you. Rachel.
Am I the only Rachel on here?
I know, isn't that weird?
That never happens. That never happens. Oh my gosh, go play the lottery today. I'm Rachel Klein. I'm the Executive Director of Hillels of Westchester. I use she, her, hers pronouns, and Hillel, every Shabbat is Pride Shabbat. Since we went into lockdown, we have had a couple of events that I'm really excited to share. Both of these were done in collaboration with other Hillels and with Hillel International. So the content was offered to everyone. It's a program called Hillels at Home. If you're bored and you're looking for really innovative Jewish content, there's a lot going on. One of my board members is on a Hillel at Home event right now. But our two in the LGBTQ space were the first one featuring the progeny of one of our esteemed members here. Diane's son, Adam, published a book, and we got copies and distributed it to our students. It is a fabulous, fabulous, fun, friendly, informative, inspirational, queer ally book. and we shared it with a number of students. And then Adam came on and did a great session. And we had a second event that was a panel of 4 rabbis from various movements and various geographic areas. And the topic was finding your adult Jewish community. It was essentially shul shopping for LGBTQ plus folks, for college students to think about, being active Jewish adults. We don't want life to fall off for them when they get off campus. So that's what we've been up to.
Wow. Wonderful. Wonderful. Thank you. Rebecca Ruberg.
Hi, I'm Rebecca Schwartz. I'm from the Pelham Jewish Center. My pronouns are she, her, hers. In the spring, we had a Pride Shabbat in June. It was virtual. And we had Marissa Fernandez, who I think, Rachel, doesn't she work with you? Don't they work with you? I think they're through Hillel of New York. And Marissa was amazing. And I'm also a parent of a gender nonconforming child. Thank you.
So I stand corrected. Sorry, Rebecca. I reported it incorrectly.
No problem.
Many things. Yeah.
Thank you. Okay. Rebecca Ruberg,
Hi there. Yeah, no, I'm here.
Okay.
Hi, I'm Rebecca Bruberg. I thought I was the only Rebecca on this call, Rachel. I
did
really felt
also.
you, but apparently I'm not. Hi, the other Rebecca. I work for the Jewish Education Project. I'm one of the teen consultants. And I know Sarah Beth, who is my colleague, just stepped away as she's in the process of putting her infant to sleep. So she is the Jewish Education Project's new director of inclusion and innovation as of like last week. So she is brand new and happy to join as well and to learn more about what's going on around Westchester in this space.
Great, thanks. Sarah Beth Berman.
Sarah Beth just walked away. She
Oh, that's the one who walked away. I'm sorry.
No worries, absolutely.
Sarah Feinstein.
Wait a minute. Okay, hi. I'm Sarah Feinstein. I belong to Scarsdale Synagogue. And Rabbi Brown asked me to comment. I haven't been involved with the organization before, but Rabbi Brown asked me to be involved. And I would like to get some ideas for our synagogue. I know we have a Pride Shabbat every once or twice a year, but we wanted to get a little more involved. And so I'm here to get some ideas from everybody. So far, it seems like there are a lot of good ones. So.
Yes, welcome. And yes, there are a lot of ideas and some wonderful programming. So hopefully, if you reach out, I don't today's always hard because it's Zoom and all that, but absolutely, there's a lot.
Is there something like written up afterwards, like that we could see?
Abby, maybe you can share the link in the chat, the link to the Google Docs that have a lot of information for you, Sarah, and for everyone.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'd like to see that. Okay. Thank you.
Stacy?
Hi. How are you? I'm
Yeah.
Stacey Shapiro, she, her. I am the Northeast Program Specialist for Moving Traditions. I think we're partners with every temple that I've heard this evening so far. I am really excited. We haven't done the New York group yet, but I really wanted to tell everyone we have had a Tselem group, which is for trans, non-binary, gender fluid, and questioning teens. And teens we define as 8th to 12th grade. We've had a national group that has been online for, you'll have to excuse me, I don't know how many years, but it's been a couple of years. And we have now are establishing regional groups. And so I have been trying to set up a New York and a Boston group at the same time. And so our New York group took off last year. We had 3 participants, and we said, keep going, because if you build it, they will come. We have 7 so far this year. This year we have committed to being virtual. So we know how to do it. Like, we have been successful with this virtual group. Some of our other regions are also including LGBTQ, but New York and Boston have committed to just the subsection for trans, non-binary, gender fluid. And we're so excited because the region has, like, our circle has expanded just from just Manhattan. And it's a moving traditions, program, which lifts up the social, emotional, and spiritual part of the Jewish education. I mean, I could say a lot more. I will not right now. I'm introducing myself. But but I really, really, really want this to be a success and keep launching. So if you know any teen that this would be appropriate for, please let me know, because now we have 7 teens registered so far. We have an amazing group leader. We train our group leaders, and they use our curriculum, which is written in a group of rabbis, educators, social workers, and I'm really, really excited about it. So
Thanks, Stacy. So I actually don't know what moving traditions is, so I'm confused if that's the LGBT or if that's...
Moving Traditions is a national Jewish educational organization.
Okay.
And we have different programs. So we have teen groups. So we have a group for self-identified girls, self-identified boys, and now we have groups for those teens that are not comfortable in either of those groups.
Okay.
And so we also have a B'nai Mitzvah program. We have a feminist empowerment group, which blows my mind. And we do some other things, but basically, like, we write the curriculum and train the group leaders. And then we give you the curriculum, which is why a lot of we have so many congregational partners, because it's so easy. We just, here you go. And
Right. That sounds great. Thank you.
Yes, thanks.
Zachary?
Yes, I'm Zach Sitkin, he, his, him, one of the rabbis of Bethel Synagogue Center in New Rochelle. We had a Pride Shabbat back in June, and it was fate that it actually coincided with the Supreme Court's decision to uphold protection to trans people in the workplace. So we sent out a community email about praising that decision, and also we invited, we were not yet in person for Shabbat morning services yet, so but we have been sending out every Friday a sermon to the community, and we invited Nadav to give that week's sermon for our community for Pride Shabbat. So we were trying to, we have had Pride Shabbat every June for the last, I think, 3 or 4 years. So we wanted to keep that connection, even if we couldn't be together in person.
I will say that all of us who have had a Pride Shabbat where Nadav spoke have something in common in that it was awesome. So if you have the opportunity to have Nadav come to yours, I very much recommend that. I didn't know if anybody had slipped in, Pam, that I didn't get to, that would need to be introduced. I know sometimes they move around.
Yeah, Shosh is on, I think.
Oh, okay.
And Elliot.
Elliot.
Oh, and Elliot's here? I didn't see Elliot. Okay, yeah. Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead, Shoshana. Did you want to?
My name is Shoshana Betterman. Excuse me? Can you hear me?
Yes, I don't know
Oh.
who's.
Okay,
unmuted.
so I'm Shoshana Betterman. I'm the president of SPACA, Students and Parents Against Campus Anti-Semitism. We educate and empower students and parents who are involved in the college experience, getting ready for college, getting their students, looking at different colleges, and we educate them about standing up to anti-Semitism, what's going on the campuses. Our students, our speakers are the students on campuses at Columbia, at NYU, at the state schools, the CUNYs, who are right there on the forefront and of basically making the case against anti-Semitism and also advocating for Israel and the LGBTQ, obviously the issues, and also LGBTQ in Israel is something that is of great interest. And we do a lot of programming. We have a lot of programs in Long Island, and we had some in Westchester, and hopefully we're going to have some more this coming spring.
Great, thank you. And Elliot?
Hi, everybody. Just wanted to really say hi and say how proud the council is to be involved with this group, to help get off the ground many years ago with Diane Werner's idea and taken to only better things each year. So I just want to say thank you, and I'm happy to be able to join you today. So thanks very much.
Thank you, Elliot, and thank you for all your support. Does anybody have anything else that they wanted to add or ask anybody else or ask anybody? Okay, I'm not monitoring the chat, so if there is anything. Mark, do you want to take over?
I think most of you have met Nadav, but it's my great pleasure to get to introduce him today. As I think most of you know, he's the Westchester Community Shaliach. By background, Nadav was born and raised in Jerusalem. He attended high school in the conservative movement and served in the Army as an officer in the medical corps, training and preparing docs, paramedics, and senior medics for their service. But as far as what's more relevant to us, Nadav has worked in the field of Jewish education for well over 10 years. Previously, he was the national director of Telem, the youth department of the Jewish Reform Movement in Israel. Then he was a shlichut in Melbourne, Australia, where he worked with the progressive Jewish community and the Reform Youth Movement, Netzer. He holds a BA in psychology from Tel Aviv Academic College, an MBA with a specialty in psychology from the College of Management Academic Studies. Most importantly, though, Nadav and his partner, Ailey, have a little girl named Aviv, 9 months old, the pride and joy of their lives. So, well, Nadav does so much for the Westchester community and has over the last couple of years. It's a good thing that he's got his own pride and joy. With that, turn it over to Nadav.
Toda rabba. Thank you. And it's wonderful to see all of you and to be here in this important group. So what I thought to kind of do in the time that I have with you now is kind of share a little bit about Pride Shabbat for me in the last summer, because I found myself doing a lot of virtual work, and I kind of wanted to share it with you, and maybe just to kind of hear your thought about it and see what we can do in this virtual world. So really, as was mentioned in last January, our daughter Aviv was born. She was born in America, so she's American. She's not yet Israeli, but she's American, which is funny. And I went out to a paternity leave, so it was for a while that I was kind of not involved in anything. I came back in April, and it was just exactly to the point of getting ready to all the Pride Shabbatot. and I had everything sort of like scheduled, and we all had like, I had this week I'm going to Bet El, and that week I'm going to Sharet Tefillah, and that week I'm doing something at KTI and SSTTE, and like everything was so like scheduled, and whoops, we have COVID, so we all had to kind of figure out what we're doing and how to do it virtually. And it was a fascinating process because I found that with every synagogue, you have like a different rhythm and you have different thing that might fit that synagogue. And what we've done, we kind of, we went together with every team that I worked, whether it was a lay committee, which was amazing, or a professional committee, which was also amazing. We talked about what's great, what will work, and what will not work, and we did it. I'm gonna share it with you in 1 second. But mainly in every format, virtual format that we've done, it was a lot to do with my story. My story as a LGBT in Israel, gay, growing up as a gay Israeli. And in my story, I talk about three main things. I'm talking about religion and state. I'm talking about the IDF, and I'm talking about the idea of a gay family, or a family with two dads, two moms, or anything like that. And I'm also giving a little bit of an idea of like what is the current situation in Israel. So I'm adding a little bit of the Israeli current situation for the LGBT. So if I may, and I hope we have time for that, I prepared the beginning of the session of what I usually do. Literally, the session can go on from either like 20 minutes, 10 minutes, or an hour, but just a touch of like what we've done in virtual world. So as Rabbi Zach was saying before, for Bet El, we've decided to record my speech or my story and send it by link to the members. So I happen to have that recording, and I'm gonna try to share it with you. It's just the beginning, and then maybe I'll tell you what other things I've done virtually, and maybe if you'll have any question later, that could work. I'm gonna try to share my screen. Just do this if you'll be able to see my screen and hear my screen, okay? All right. Can you see it? Is that working? Is this working? Great, great, great. Did you ever get this feeling that you have a little bit of a headache, maybe a little cough, and immediately you decide you have cancer, and it's a matter of 3 days before you're gonna die? So this feeling is exactly what I had when I was 15, and it occurred to me that I might be gay. I was panicking. I was thinking to myself, oh my God, I'm never gonna be able to have kids. I will be lonely all my life. I will be ashamed to my family. I was so panicking that I pushed that thought away until I was 17. I was born to a Mizrahi Iraqi family. We looked like secular, but really we were very much traditional. My grandfather was Shomer Mitzvot and Shomer Shabbat, and there was this unwritten agreement between us that he's keeping all the rules and allowing us to be really religious. My mom grew up in a particular traditional conservative family. She was a top A student, but her family didn't even allow her to go to university. That's how conservative she was raised. I'm the youngest. I have an older sister, 7 years for me, and another brother, older brother, 5 years. He came out of the closet a year before me, and today he's married and he has 2 kids. So I never really tried to do any revolution, or I never really tried to change the world. Ever since I was a kid, I remember that all I wanted is just to be like everyone else. to be a good son to my parents, to be a good student, to be a good citizen. But I knew that there is something within me that will not allow this to happen. And no matter what I'll do, I'll never be normal. How can I be a good son if I'll come out of the closet and I won't be able to have kids? I mean, in a Mizrahi family that I was from, I mean, you have to have kids in order to be a good son. How can I be successful in life? I mean, if I'm going to be gay, will anyone hire me for a job? And if I want to be a good citizen in Israel, it means I have to serve the army. How does serving the army work with being gay? So all of those things were on my mind. And I was really mad. I was mad on the fact that I was born to a Mizrahi family, that I was born to a traditional Iraqi family, thinking that maybe if I would be born to a European family, maybe they will accept me better. Maybe I will be. Okay, I'm gonna stop right here because then we're gonna continue to the rest of the story, and then this is not what we signed up for. I just wanted to give you a little bit of a taste of what we've done virtually, and sort of like follow here. Basically, this is the basic story. I'm sure a lot of you heard it before or heard my story before, but I really reveal the struggles that I've gone through. And then I sort of talk about the army, I talk about religion, I talk about the state, I talk about the decisions we've made in terms of family. But really what we did, we tried to take that story that you just heard the beginning of it and adjust it to the virtual format of the community. Now we have to remember some communities are Shomer Shabbat, and at that point there was, before high holidays, it was really unclear what will be the best way to do Pride Shabbat in some communities. Some communities, wanted other things because there was already a Zoom fatigue at that moment. So we tried to sort of think of the formats. So I kind of pushed it together to three types. So the first one was exactly what you just saw. It was filming my story and then send it to the members. Have to say it was tremendously difficult for me to do. It was like the hardest thing, because when you talk about your story, you tell your story, it's hard to tell it to a camera and imagine people at home watching it, but I guess it's something I had to adjust to. But it was great getting the feedbacks from the Bethel community. The second format was the typical format that I guess a lot of you can think of Pride Shabbat. It was a service, and then in some point of the service, I got to share my story, connecting either to the parasha or either to what's going on in the service. And it was very successful because those moments really, I felt the closest to a live situation, because I had questions, I had an interaction, and when you share a story that is so intimate, you need to see at least eyes, face, something, because it's hard to reveal sometimes, and you don't know if people even want to hear. So that was pleasantly surprising and was working very well. And I think a lot of what made it work is the infrastructure behind. It's the committees that were working to make it, to invite the people. It's the people that took the questions. It's the preparation for it. So, with SSTTE we did it, and with Sharet Tfilah we did it, and with another synagogue as well in Riverdale we've done it. I felt it was a good experience. The third format, I want to say, is a program. So, for example, with Kol Ami or with KTI, we've done a program about LGBTs in Israel that was sort of broadcast on the Shabbat service or through email or anything like that, or people were invited to come. And it was either me running the program, so the program was really about LGBTs in Israel, but it was more interactive. It was less me telling my own story, and it was more, having some sort of a interactive reaction from the people who were joining the Zoom. And the other side, or another option of it, was actually an interview, and that is something I'm seeing more and more happening in the area of the virtual world that we all live in. I was interviewing someone that was interesting, relevant, and was part of the LGBT world in Israel, and the beauty of it is that we recorded it and then we sort of broadcast it during Shabbat Pride, and it went well because it was people saw the interview, they got to meet people that were less accessible, like we had people coming for those interviews that it's sometimes very hard to get them if without Zoom. So we used that as an advantage, and we invited them to the Zoom. We did the interview, and then people got to ask questions, and those questions were referred to me rather than the people I interviewed, but still it was something. So I think those three things, the main things that we did. Overall, I had 5 programs during the last summer. But I have to say, look, the reality is that there is no substitute to a physical face-to-face meeting. But it doesn't mean that, I feel like it doesn't mean that I need to stop trying to make a connection. And the more I see, the more time we're in this craziness, I see that people are, they want to engage. And if someone really wanted to engage, really want to know something, they will do it through Zoom. And I see it also in my Israeli programs, and I see it happening also with other places. Like I don't think it's the best, but it's what we have, and I feel like we can make it as good as we can. So this is pretty much my experience from the last summer, and if there are any questions, I'm happy to take them.
Thank you, Nadav. I do want to say that when you cut that off, I was like, wait, aren't we going to get to hear the whole thing? So I mean, it was really engaging. So I think it probably worked so well, but having had to record just something for the holidays, it took me forever because I kept thinking, oh, I don't, it's hard to do. I agree. Thanks. Anyone have anything they want to say or ask?
I just want to say thanks, Nadav, and I appreciated the storytellingness to your story. You are a professional engager, but I think that there was something in what you did that I could see my own students doing. And I'm really trying to embrace this 10-year leap that we took in technology overnight and meet the younger generation where they are. And this really inspires us, sort of like, could we put together a video storytelling the same way that Mosaic used to do the storytelling with folks in the community? So thank you for modeling that. I appreciate it, and it's always good to see you.
I just want to say, from our perspective, having done this with Nadav, I mean, one of the things, even being Zoom and it is always better if you can be together. But despite that, we got so many comments from people that I think the storytelling format is wonderful, and you could really get the warmth and the strong sense of family. And I mean, we were getting a lot of comments, about that warmth that really came through even with Zoom. And then, that's not always so easy. So I think that was something that worked under the circumstances, really well. The way Nadav told his story and his warmth, and I think that was really conveyed to the people.
I'm so happy to hear that.
Yeah. I mean,
part of the problem is that you don't see any reaction.
I know. It's hard.
Like you're sending it out there and you have no idea what's happening. And even just being here and hearing you guys saying that, it's really it's a big support. Like you just try and do your best there.
Yeah. No, and it worked. I think it really worked, and I think we got a lot of comments along that line.
Yeah, it was short now, and I wish I could hear the full version, but I was so touched by your sharing and by your so I wish I can hear the end of it.
I'll send you the link.
Can we all get that link, Nadav?
I think so. It's a Bet-El link. So
okay,
I
right.
think if Bet-El were happy with that, I don't. We can try to arrange something.
We can work on that. Okay.
Can I ask Nadav a current events question?
Sure.
I'll try to answer.
Is that kosher? I understand Benny Lau came out in Israel saying that he approves of gay couples having children. The Orthodox, the nephew of the chief rabbi and a prominent Orthodox rabbi in his own right. Was that shocking to you? You think that will change things?
It is a big deal. It's a big deal. I mean, it's something. It's a game changer. It's something that really changes a lot. But at the end of the day, I think the process is way longer than having a very important rabbi saying that. It is a start. It's a beginning. But the problem in Israel is very much political, and the political force in the parliament there are too many Knesset parliament member who would always vote against, and that's something that we're trying to work very hard to change. I think there are changes. I mean, the Supreme Court already said that the ruling needs to be changed, and there's a lot. I think the majority of the country also, in every poll we're doing, it's shown that everyone really support LGBT families, and it's going there. But I think the political force is still strong. I hope that this is a beginning of something that will change. But with that community, from what we know, it's a long process.
Right. Well, if the Pope came on board,
right.
Maybe there's hope for Israel.
I know, it's amazing, right?
Great. Thank you so much, Nadav. That was wonderful, as always. Abby, did you want to?
Yes. So last spring, what we had on the calendar was this phenomenal program of a Mosaic Pride Passover program to explore LGBTQ inclusion in our Sederim, in our Seders. And the idea was that it was going to be in a synagogue with different stations that resembled the Passover Seder plate. And each one would kind of explore LGBTQ themes connected with Pesach through one of the Seder plate items. And we were not able to do the program, and because it was, Pesach right around when we were still in shock that this wasn't a few days that, we were going to lock down and then we would all be together again by Pesach. We now have time to be able to say, the odds are we're going to have to do this, virtually. What could this program look like virtually? And I think it's totally doable now that we've all been experimenting with this, to do kind of breakout rooms instead of stations. And so we have a committee of a bunch of people from this group who are working together on it. And we're right now in the process of, through a doodle poll of figuring out our first meeting to turn the rich programming that we created into a virtual program. The date of it, and I'll put it in the chat too, is March 14th from 3:30 to 5:30 on Zoom. And so if you can put that into your synagogue calendars too, to just kind of save the date. Originally when it was in person, it was going to be 2 hours. I don't know the time, we can adjust the timing for Zoom, but if we just kind of hold that in each of your synagogue communities so that we can all publicize it and work together on it, then that would be terrific. So I'm going to put my email in the chat, and if you are interested in helping out with it, and to be part of these planning meetings, it's not, a huge commitment, and you basically take on what you want, what you're comfortable with taking on. So it's as much of a commitment as you want to do. If you can't make so many meetings, but you want to, think about one aspect of the program and then come back to us and that kind of thing. It's really, you can put in the amount of time that you feel comfortable in. So yeah, breakthrough rooms. So please email me if you are interested in joining the group, and then I'll send you the doodle poll link to so that we can try to find a meeting that works best for everybody. Thank you.
Again, it's 2:30 to 4:30?
3:30 to 5:30. Pat put it in the
3:30.
chat.
Okay.
March 14th, 2021, 3:30 to 5:30.
Thank you, Abby. So I see that we're, it's now 8:30, and I just want to be mindful of that. Does anybody have anything that they want to mention or ask or talk about before we?
In the past, Abby, what happened with our teen groups that were meeting? What happened with that?
So what happened was that of the, maybe we had 10 teens that were coming, about 7 of them were seniors. And one of them was coming from New Jersey. So when we tried to do an event after those seniors graduated, there just wasn't, they didn't show up. And then Rachel can speak about with Hillel, with Marissa, they tried to do something, and it was really challenging to get teens to participate as well. So we're not sure what the issue is, whether they're just teens feel more comfortable within their Jewish communities and there isn't as much of a need for it, whether teens are just so over scheduled that it just doesn't fit anymore, or I'm not sure what the issues were, but there just wasn't the critical mass, even 1 or 2, like to be able to continue the group. So we can reassess and reevaluate again, like, could be that coming up there are more teens and those teens would like to do it, so we can revisit it as well. But there are networks like the Moving Traditions groups, and Keshet does a lot of networking with teens that fill that role for them as well. A lot of those teens were involved with Keshet or Moving Traditions as well.
So can we have like a can this information go out to all synagogues, and then we can pass it on to our families? We have teens that are coming out now. There's a new generation.
What information about a teen
like
group?
if it's Moving Traditions, and if it's Keshet, and if it's whatever it's happening. So I would like to offer that to our teens, so to tell what's going on. I just don't know.
You can even put it
their
on
center lane as well.
Center lane, right?
Yeah,
so you can even put it on your website and say like resource, like if you have a teen or youth page, you could put it on your website. That's something too that youth directors, if they know about those resources, then they can also just kind of know those resources too. So we can certainly, like put out the list for you,
Exactly.
and then you can add it where you want to add it.
Exactly. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, and just to piggyback on what Abby said, thank you for saying all of that, Abby. we are ready, willing, and able. We can pick this back up. We have college students who are part of the LGBTQ plus community, who we were ready to train as facilitators, had a whole program ready to go with them, but the teens were not coming. And I think it may be because Keshet and Center Lane and the Loft are doing a good job. That's what we were hypothesizing. But Anna, we have a list of Westchester centric. We put it all in one place recently, so I know it's updated. Shoot me an email and I'll send it over to you.
Can you send it to Pam and then Pam can include it like in the next roundtable email?
I have to get it from my staff, but yes, that was why I needed the second and couldn't do it right now. Yes, I will.
And then Pam, I can also add it to the Google Drive too, or we can add it. We'll communicate about that.
That's great.
Okay, also, Stacy, do you just want to say anything about your group?
Oh, yeah, I was putting in there so people could copy. There's also our website. On our website, movingtraditions.org, there's a Selim page where there's lots of information. There's information, and that's where you register for the group. And the group is starting on Sunday. I mean, it's once a month for 2 hours. It's a monthly group. And I mean, the teens who participate in any of the groups, we just get tremendous feedback. Like, I've run a girls group. I ran one for 7 years and I'm on my 2nd year of a new one. And it's, I just can't, it's the most amazing experience. So I know Selim is the same thing. And I would just encourage anyone who, it's for Jewish teens, obviously we're in this space, but I just wanted to reiterate that it is for Jewish teens. And yeah, so I've been working so hard on this, so hard. So I'm very, very excited about it.
That's great. Thank you, Stacy. Anyone else have anything they want to bring up?
Thanks, Abby.
All right.
Just to let everybody know that Central Lane's available to do meetings and workshops for parent groups or youth groups or whatever you need to that's LGBT kind of educative. And we're always looking for folks to partner with to do our short-term pride groups. So if you've got a vibrant group of LGBTQ youth and you want a pride specific program, we've got that ready to go.
David, is there a website you want to put in the chat to direct people?
Sure, I'll do that.
All right, let's wait for that to get up there so you can grab it. Anyone else? All right, well,
Say that you could
okay.
send that with all the links on it. Is that possible to just get the whole chat? And I'm never
So if you go down to the bottom right 3 dots there, oh, actually, this doesn't do that. Usually you can save it, but Pam, can we, you can send out an email with all of these on it, right?
Yeah, we would normally send a follow-up email with the Google Drive, and we'll send the links to Keshet and Moving Traditions and Center Lane as well.
Yeah, that might be the easiest way.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much. I know it's the end of a long day and we've all been on Zoom and all that. So I really appreciate everybody coming and being here and engaging. It's so good to see everybody. And once again, thank you so much, Nadav. Okay, night.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.
Thanks.